Welcome back to Balancing Acts. I'm your host, Linda Hamilton, a CPA, certified exit planning advisor, and a systemologist. And we're talking with Betty Hines, the CEO and founder of Women Elevated Women. And we're talking about breaking barriers together, how we can grow our businesses and break that $1 million mark. And this segment, I want to talk about communication and some of the common entrepreneurial challenges that women face when they grow their business. Betty, I know that communication is one of your 5 pillars. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means?
Sure, absolutely. Something that I tell the women all the time. I said, you have to brand your business. No one is going to know who you are, and no one's going to be able to do business with you if you're a secret agent. So you need to learn how to brand, communicate your personal and your business brand. That's not something that we've done well. We can't just assume. We have to brand. We have to be on social media platforms. You have to identify the right one that's for you. But it's important that we do brand ourselves. Who are we? What do we represent? Who are we trying to attract to be part of our organization or our products? Who do we want to sell our products to? So branding your business, and not just your business brand, but also your personal brand, because you are behind the business. You are behind the business. People will speak to the CEO and know who the CEO is, but they also need to understand, what do you represent? And that's the branding of the business. So we take a lot of time and work with the individuals on branding, social media, getting TV interviews, having conversations with people like you, Linda. Get your message out there, because if they don't know what you do and how you can support them, they're not going to be able to obtain your services.
Because people won't be able to find them, right? So, I love that. And, let's talk about branding a little bit. It's really important to know who you serve, right?
Mhm.
It reminds me of Simon Sinek's
Yes.
very powerful why, and that
Mhm.
people they don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So how does that work into the communicate pillar?
Well, for Woo, how that works into the communicate pillar, we have a saying, and we say, as iron sharpens iron, women elevate women. And so we say, women, it's incumbent upon you to support each other. It's not a sacrifice, but as you elevate somebody else, you'll be elevated. So we have to get that mindset together in terms of the branding messages and what our purpose is and what we represent. So these days right now, women need to work collaboratively. We need to brand collaboratively. If I know there's an opportunity out for you, Linda, then I'm gonna say, hey, Linda, this is your brand, and I know someone who is interested in your brand. Let me make that introduction for you. So we need to be supportive of each other. Again, we will scale if we work closely together. We don't have to do it alone. And once people see that you are willing to brand them, they will brand you.
So you said a lot there. So let's break that down a bit in both the personal and the business brand. They are separate, but they have to be aligned as
Yes.
well. So let's start with the personal branding side. When I think of personal branding, I think a little bit about core values sometimes.
Mhm.
I'm a CPA. In my profession, there's a lot about, integrity, which is expected
Mhm.
from a CPA, but also being empathetic to business owners are very intimidated by their financial story, by their
Mhm.
taxes. So what do you look at in personal branding for Woo members when they come in?
I look for WOO members when we speak with them, when we interview them. We try to take or ask questions to see, are they open to support someone else and not just themselves. It can't just be where you're entering an organization just to take. There has to be a give process. And that is also that's the personal brand. That's what we do in Woo. Members know that we are going to brand you. We're going to talk about you. We're going to say, you will see it in our post. We're always reposting if someone has an award or achievement, be it personal or their business. We know it's understood that if that's part of our organization, you want to recognize that person, you want to give a shout out and bring attention to that individual with your network. So, yes, it is important. And that's important that we as women make it the utmost responsibility of each other when they come into Woo, is that it's your responsibility not just to brand yourself, but to brand the membership, because no one's going to know about the membership unless you tell our story.
And that's a form of also connection and collaboration, right?
Right.
Of supporting. And when you're in a large corporation, you have tons of support around you, right? There's hundreds and thousands of employees all working together. But when we're small businesses, you don't have that. You don't have that in your team. So by joining an organization like WOO or the Women Presidents Organization, you end up expanding your reach and having others
Yes.
talk about you. So in that part, the communication part is having others get to know you, but you also lifting them up. And I love what you said, that by elevating others, you elevate yourself. I also think of that a bit like kindness,
Mm-hmm.
being kind. And Bob Berg's book, The Go-Giver, which is a wonderful book about giving rather than just receiving in success in business. So now let's switch to the business branding. What does that look like? Like, why is that important to brand your business? And are there different elements of it?
Yes, there is. When you're trying to brand your business, because a lot of businesses are similar. I
Yeah.
mean, they're similar. What I do, I'm not the only one that's doing this. And when you talk about branding your business, there's a certain element of authenticity that you need to bring into the brand. I'm not trying to conquer the whole world, and I make that very clear. We have a small group, and intentionally. So our brand is, this is what the services that we provide with Woo. But am I trying to be the size of a WPO 2000? No, no, no. I can't manage that. We're looking to bring in, uh, I'm thinking of the movie A Few Good Men, A Few Good Women, 100, 125, max, 150 max, because that is manageable for our ecosystem, within our ecosystem. So we want to take that small group of women. That's our business. That's our branding. That we're not trying to, though we're global, we've had people all over. We want to keep it a small pocket full of people that we can manage and that we can mentor. So our brand is having a small group of women that we can personally mentor. We can personally guide through the maze and process of doing business on a government level, on a corporate level, on any level, B2B, all of those levels. So those are the elements of branding for your business that we take pride in, and we feel that we do well. And also for us, our brand is, our expectation, unlike some organizations, is not for you to be with us 5, 10, 15 years. We have an airport model that we bring you in, our brand. We will give you the tools, tips, and techniques. And once you're ready, you take off and we bring another one in. So our intention is not to have you there. Now, if you want to stay there forever, we could be a member at large, but we feel that we'll give you the necessary tools, tips, and techniques that 2 to 3 years, because it depends on where you are on the runway. If you're at six figures and if you're 100,000, it's unlikely you're going to get to 1 million in 3 years. If you do, I applaud you. Share that secret sauce. But we want to be able to give you enough of the tools and tips that you can take off. That's what Woo is all about. Our brand is that give you the tools to take off, and then we bring someone else in.
That's great, Betty. And I love how you just explained all of that about business branding. And for those in our audience, what I hope you heard was Betty was limiting. She's not talking to everyone, right? So for those of you listening, you have to do the same for your business, right? That it's important. I'm sure that all the WEW members come in working on their brand. Who do they serve? How do they serve them? What does their business model look like in terms of communicating and getting it done? And one thing I know as a CPA in practice is that who you serve and your business model impacts your pricing,
Mm-hmm.
impacts your delivery model, impacts your bottom line. It could impact your cash flow as well. So that's how important business branding is. And when do you first join your cohort in WEW? where does communication fit in what they do? Is it early on in the pillars? Does it impact the other pillars?
Yes, it does. The cohort program, they are really trying to find themselves.
Mm.
A lot of these women that are in the cohort came out of corporate America and they were doing six figures and they're thinking like, okay, I have this idea. I've been doing this here in corporate America, and it's the skills I have are transferable into me in being a consultant or starting my own business. And so once they put their business model together and we help them perfect it, we say, yes, absolutely. So the branding is very critical for them to transition from corporate America to an individual. They will know a lot of people in the corporate space, but how do you transfer that to now you are an individual, you are a business brand yourself. You're no longer attached to corporate America, but you have all those transferable skills. So yeah, it's early on, and that is why for them we do a lot of the introductions. They have the what they call the cooler chat, where they have 90 minutes. We just implemented that, where they can just chit chat on what's going on. That is why it's important for them to have an accountability partner. That's why it's important for them to have a mentor to help them along that way. So again, these are people that are coming right out of the gates, coming out, they're successful. They've been successful, but not in the entrepreneurial. It's a whole different world when you're in corporate America and someone else is making payroll versus when you're doing it on your own as a cohort and you're responsible for making that payroll and making those demands. So they do need a lot more nurturing.
Exactly right. And we're going to take a break in a moment, but I hope those listening are understanding that by joining a cohort or something like that, it's beyond a course. And there's a lot of opportunities out there for male owned businesses and female owned businesses to actually get the support and accountability you need and to work on communicating your brand. Stay with us. We'll be right back to close out this segment.